First the Pac-Man eats through a maze of dots. Then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots. Then he eats his fill of a power pill. And then all those ghosts turn blue, blue, and Pac-Man eats them all too.
Only Atari makes the Pac-Man home video game, and you can only play it on an Atari video game system.
Have you played Atari today?
Over 8 million units sold make Pac-Man the best-selling Atari 2600 game. How did it get there? Pac-Man made its first appearance in 1980. It was developed and released by Namco for arcades. A sensational full-color video game for 1 or 2 players that tickles vision and challenges reflexes. Adding to the fun are musical refrains, jumping and action sounds along with amusing cartoons shown between racks, as stated on this official Midway flyer from 1980. Gameplay is also explained as consisting of 4 ghost monsters, Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde, as they chase after the Pac-Man trying to capture and deflate him.
Excuse me. Excuse me, young man. You've got to stop playing the games. You're a disgrace. Excuse me. Sir, would you stop playing the games? Young man, you must listen to me. Hey, hey! I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to have food on these games.
No one's ever gotten 7 figures on this machine before. Not even me. I know if this machine's capable of 7 figures.
Pac-Man was a resounding success that spawned a franchise generating over $14 billion in revenue as of 2016.
Morning, kids. It's a Pac-Man day with my crispy corn cereal coming your way.
It's Pac-Man with marshmallows.
Delicious.
I'm Inky.
I'm Blinky.
I'm Pinky.
I'm Clyde. We're the marshmallows you'll find inside of Pac-Man.
There goes a Pac-Pac and Inky too.
He's marshmallow. You can chomp him too.
In Pac-Man,
Part of this nutritious breakfast.
it's Pac-Man.
With marshmallows. Delicious.
Atari acquired official licensing rights from Namco and started adapting it for the Atari 2600. Todd Fry completed the game in 6 months. The game was released on National Pac-Man Day on April the 3rd, 1982. Promoted with ads in the New York Times and other prominent media around the world, the event drew sizable crowds. It was a full day of fun and terrific surprises, with all sorts of prizes for people to win. You could meet Pac-Man and Blinky in mascot costume.
Grandpa, you want to play Pac-Man?
Pac-Man, horsey.
I'll show you, Grandpa.
Pac-Man is a video game cartridge you have to buy separately to play on the Atari video computer system. Your parents hook it up to the TV.
Those are supposed to be the ghosts after Pac-Man. Watch out, Grandpa. Stick with me. You'll get the hang of it.
This is the Atari video computer system. Pac-Man and other video game cartridges are each sold separately.
How does the Atari 2600 version compare to the original arcade? Let's find out. Panned by critics as bearing little resemblance to the original, the Atari 2600 adaptation joined the ranks of the worst video games ever made. Its poor visuals and sound, tepid gameplay and feel were no match for the arcade version. Customers felt cheated, expecting a similar experience to the arcade, and like the critics, no love lost for the Atari 2600 version. Overall, the game follows the format of the original, but it differs in a number of key respects. The design is oriented in landscape rather than portrait mode. The wraparound wrap tunnel is located at the top and bottom of the screen rather than the sides. The maze layout and overall color scheme also differ from the original. Pac-Man himself features an eye and it only faces left and right, never turning to face up or down when traveling in those directions. The ghost's eyes constantly cycle through 4 directions rather than being fixed in their current direction of travel. The maze contains 126 wafers, just over half of the arcade's 244 dots. The nest from which the ghosts emerge as its entrance on its right side instead of the top, and the arcade's 8 distinct and differently valued bonus items, mostly fruits, are replaced by the nondescript single value vitamin. Ghost behaviors are different from the original and dispense with the brief rest states, whereby the ghosts periodically do not track Pac-Man, but each ghost still features a distinct individual method of tracking Pac-Man, with one pair being smarter in the pursuit choices and one member of each pair being faster than the other. In the arcade, when a ghost is eaten, its eyes return to the nest and it respawns and exits immediately in its normal, not vulnerable state. In this version, the eyes remain in the nest until any power pill effects expire before they respawn and re-emerge. A significant and notable difference with the arcade version is the ghost's constant flickering. This was due to limitations of the Atari 2600 hardware. The scoring for the home version is proportionally identical to the original, except that each item is worth 1/10 its arcade value, with the bonus vitamins as the only variation, being worth 100 points, which is the equivalent of a 1000-point scoring melon bonus item that appears in the 7 and 8 levels of the arcade game. Unlike the arcade version, if Pac-Man loses a life while the vitamin appears, the vitamin may not necessarily be forfeited. This version does not feature the marquee screen and interstitial animations. Neither does it attempt to approximate the sounds of the original, reducing the iconic waka waka, eating, and other bonus sounds to a single tone clank sound and single beep respectively, replacing the game start tune with a 4-note motif and dispensing with both the extra life and omnipresent siren sounds. Although Pac-Man was the best-selling Atari 2600 game, it was hardly its most popular. Returns and complaints from customers led to stores canceling orders. Atari is believed to have been left with approximately 5 million unsold copies. Perhaps some made it to the Alamogordo, New Mexico Atari video game burial site. The Atari version left a lot to be desired, but Pac-Man has captured the imagination of a generation and remains one of the most beloved characters in video game history. Over 40 years after its introduction, it is commonly named one of the greatest video games of all time. 12 million copies of Pac-Man were manufactured for the Atari 2600, making Todd Fry a millionaire by reportedly receiving 10 cents in royalties per copy. Not bad for 6 months' work.
'cause I got